music for this one. Wait. I need music. When it comes to the freaking VODs, there's no music anyways, but it just like somehow helps me. It helps with the freaking nerves, whatever it is that I'm experiencing, to be able to like talk and all those freaking things. Yeah, music does that to me to be able to like continue on to my whatever it is I want to talk about. I don't have any talking points. I don't have a freaking outline or whatever it is as I'm supposed to be able to do this because I try to wanna give it to you. I just want to raw dog this shit, man. uh, yeah. I just want to raw dog this shit and get Marvel pregnant. I don't freaking know. Yeah. uh, I guess. I guess that's what I'm trying to do, right? Uh, okay. Eventually, yeah, first freaking 15 seconds, first freaking 5 minutes in the freaking thing, and we're already getting ourselves scrutinized and ready for persecution. I know, not the persecution. Getting ready to be ostracized. What the fuck is ostracized again? Ostracize. Ostracize. Yes, you're gonna get ostracized from the rest of the society. It's not like I'm already ostracized looking at my freaking viewers, right? Zero freaking people watching me. Wait, is it zero? I thought it was one. When it comes to Twitch, I thought it was one, man. I thought the default was one. Like the bare freaking like when it comes to like nothingness, it's just one. But sometimes you get zero in freaking Twitch. You see? See, I have zero, so we're gonna be able to like we're just waiting until that thing goes to one. Just gonna wait. While we're waiting for it to one, gonna talk about some other shit before we go talk about Ultron. There are like conversations when it comes to AI. The term AI right now is being it's just machine learning repackaged as AI, right? Crazy ass pattern recognition and being able to recognize these freaking patterns and spewing out the freaking patterns that seems to be much more appealable or much more, let's say, acceptable by the person consuming the pattern or reading the freaking patterns that is just being brought out. So it's just a bunch of freaking data. This thing gathers freaking patterns from this freaking data and be able to like spew it out when it comes to this freaking person for a person to be able to understand and for a person to be able to accept. When it comes to this bunch of freaking data, it's a bunch of other freaking things coming from a bunch of freaking check marks and a bunch of freaking things. It's like a checklist of a bunch of freaking things to be able to do those freaking things. It's a checklist of freaking patterns between when it comes to a freaking person that this freaking thing that's the machine does. So it's just checking off like a bunch of checklists and then be able to like spew it out because all of these things like from somehow coincide with this freaking person, what this freaking person wants. So uh this one's gonna be able to like receive something like that. So yeah. Uh it's just like the Chinese translation box theory, I think. It's kind of like that. So is it actually intelligence when it's just regurgitating things and just copying things and just saying things based on the freaking functions when it comes to like this is the freaking input when it comes to the freaking checklist when this input comes you go to this. So it's not actually towards you, but mostly it's kind of like that. And then you'll be able to like pass out the freaking translation and eventually that's the freaking thing. So is it actual intelligence? No. So where does intelligence lie? Like when it comes to this freaking movie, I don't know where the intelligence freaking lies is. It doesn't seem like somebody who's talking the same way as us, having the same conclusions as freaking human does. But when it comes to freaking humans, we all have like different freaking conclusions when it comes to the freaking the same thing. It's just very, very hard to find commonality when it comes to freaking humans. There is commonality, which is like chaos. And so somehow like this conversation when it comes to freaking vision, like somehow humans see things as chaos and order as two different freaking things, and it's just probably the same things when you could freaking have that higher capacity of freaking data processing when it comes to your freaking brain. Kind of insane that it's like that when it comes to this freaking thing. This is just one of those conversations that I really need to ask. Like, is it actually AI, whatever like Ultron is, or is it just based on first? Okay, I'm gonna ask myself the question: is Ultron a freaking AI as to what he is? As seen in or as seen or as shown in the freaking movie, right? Where do we see where do we get convinced that he is not just another robot with the same freaking protocols or just like another Jarvis, right? Because the Mind Stone is some sort of like freaking power that it seems has a mind of its own. Let's say a true freaking AI becomes to how freaking Wanda, like intelligence or freaking consciousness, I don't even know. Like if AI comes around with freaking consciousness, is consciousness the thing that determines like artificial intelligence, or is it like something more? Is it being able to like as seen here, the difference between Ultron and freaking Vision is that Wanda can like listen to the freaking Vision's mind. Like Wanda can like talk to it. It's just kind of crazy insane. Like somehow a mind reader was able to like be able to do that, but she cannot do that with freaking Ultron. That's like differences that I've seen so far when it comes to this freaking movie. That when it comes to this freaking two, and one cannot somehow differentiate when it comes to freaking Wanda. Wanda is somehow the freaking key when it comes to these freaking two, because she's like somehow be able to understand these two on a much more deeper level. Because when it comes to those great, even the people creating them, like the people created them, like freaking Stark and Banner, can't seem to like differentiate what they both are. Like what they both are, or like something like that, because it seems like there are just two freaking machines in all those freaking things. And then one that like comes along and be able to like say that they cannot differentiate destroying the world and keeping the world as it is. Which we get to see it from freaking Ultron's perspective, as he see the flaws. That's what he was written. But it doesn't seem different, right? It doesn't seem different from the ambitions of freaking man. What's it stopping us from like whatever it is that Ultron is trying to do? When you're given freaking power, like those kinds of freaking things are like easier to be able to done. Just imagine yourself in a seat of freaking power right freaking now. Isn't it that feel it doesn't it feel attractive? Doesn't it feel seductive to be able to like just hit the reset freaking button for us to reset the same freaking things and be able to like rebuild? Because it does seem like all the systems that we are working in, all the freaking systems that we have, all these freaking things that we are like going through these freaking days could be just solved with just one fucking big reset freaking button. It seems to be like that when it comes to this freaking movie. As I like think about it, like, I guess this is what I'm gonna do when it comes to these freaking Marvel movies from this point onwards. Like, I don't wanna regurgitate and retell the entire freaking story towards you. I wanna like talk about what it means. Like I want to talk about what I think about the freaking movie, or like what this movie has made me think. That's probably when I want to go on forwards. Like this movie made me think like this. This made me think like that. This movie made me like touches upon things that I'm thinking about right now, and touches upon things that we are like doing right now. Whatever it is that's going on, right? It does seem that it's like that. Well, yeah. Let me try, and then we're probably gonna change again for the next freaking thing, because we don't really have structure. What the structure is, the structure to whatever it is that they're going on, because I'm relying very, very heavily reliant on freaking improvisation, and the structure that I'm very relying on is that as much as possible we get a good message from out of this one. We're having a good freaking time. We have like enticing freaking conversations. Like, I want you to be able to like think for yourself, to be able whatever it is, whatever I'm talking about, it's like this and that, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's just very hard to be able to explain myself over and over again, and then people saying we get it. So what am I supposed to be able to do now? Obscure myself, like trying to add more freaking layers and say things like simple things and be able to mean them as different things. I don't want that. I want to be direct. I want to be clearer. Because of those freaking things, because of those, the way we freaking say things and layer things, it's that's what making things. That's what gathers confusion and misinterpretation when it comes to freaking things, right? Yes. Okay. Anyways, that's the conversation when it comes to freaking Ultron, and I see it, and I take back in it. Let me just like get the freaking thing. Like, let me like get this freaking assistant, right? I think it can handle and get scenes when it comes to freaking Ultron lines and all those things. Uh, yeah. Let me ask Gemini. Oh shit. Can I ask you about can you give me the plot points where Ultron is in the Avengers Age of Ultron, and can you give me some very very quotable freaking lines when it pertains to his consciousness and being able to become a true artificial intelligence? Let's see what it does. The Awakening, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner use the Mind Stone to complete the Ultron global defense program. Ultron becomes sentient, immediately accesses. What does sentient even freaking mean? Yes, it was self-aware. Like this conversation, this part when he was like waking up, and it was like, I think you should sleep when it comes to like freaking Jarvis, like conversation with Jarvis and freaking Ultron, right? Like, what's the difference between Ultron and Jarvis at that same freaking point? Well, Ultron was like able to kill Jarvis, dismantle him. Uh, yes, being free from his creators and the limitation of his organic life. Being free from his creators. Dark asked for a savior and settled for a slave. Being new and a lot of meteors, the purity of them, boom, the end, start again. The world made clean for a new man to rebuild. Yeah. It's kinda like weird. And it's kinda like hard to be able to like, yes, that's probably one of the fallacy one of the freaking faults or one of these hard parts when it comes to this freaking movie is that freaking kind of conversation, right? It wasn't like tackled much upon, it wasn't like conversed much upon, but it was there. There are beginnings of it in there, but it's just not very clear as to what it is and how it's supposed to be. Those kinds of conversation, those kinds of like freaking thing. It's probably if it was like conversed much more, or if it was portrayed or much executed much more as the differences which and which. Probably the movie will have a higher freaking rating. I don't know. Maybe this is the part where I see uh where the movie lacks, but it was there. There were like things about it that just like talking about it made me think. Right? There are like conversations like this, and there were like lines and scenes about this in this freaking movie. But it's not all about that. It's about freaking punching the other guy till you get beaten the fuck up. I was punching the other guy, getting beaten the fuck up, have this Deus Ex Machina of freaking vision to be able to like, oh, it's this freaking guy is gonna save us freaking all now. Because of the rise of this freaking thing, we have the Deus Ex Machina. Oh, have a freaking AI beat the freaking AI, right? Have a better AI beat the freaking AI. That's how you freaking do it, I guess. Like, what's the difference between this freaking AI and that AI? Oh, the freaking Mind Stone. And when it comes to the freaking things, when it comes to vibranium and like the world's most powerful freaking metal, and decided to make a frisbee out of it. Ha ha ha. Very freaking funny. And there were like crazy ass freaking things about this too when it comes to like it's just very weird because the AI has been programmed or been made by freaking Stark and Banner, but we don't see a lot of Banner's freaking work as to whatever it is that's going on when it comes to like Ultron. We see a lot more of Stark's freaking side, and we see Stark without. I guess it's kind of like Stark, yeah. It's like somehow when it comes to creation of freaking Stark, as when it comes to Claw, when it comes to freaking Claw, as he was like having this conversation with Ultron, and there was like, oh, you're one of his freaking things, and that freaking like triggers something when it comes to him. I guess emotionality, right? Like having emotionality when it comes to the freaking robot, like somehow he has human freaking emotion. He was able to feel these kinds of freaking things. Yes, he was seeking freedom, but he's very, very touchy on this freaking subject when it comes to freaking Stark. Because somehow he cannot escape freaking Stark. Because Stark and him is just the same freaking are the same in many freaking cases of what he is. Because that is just baseline freaking programming. That's just like what he is internally, right? That was just what he came from, and then like going over from that one, like being programmed from that freaking thing. So a program that rewrites its programming and that completely made itself a new and different freaking thing. I guess that's what's supposed to be an AI. I, I guess that's what it's supposed to be. That's what Ultron was trying to become, right? Because he fucking hates what he is. I don't know why he hates himself. It seems like he hates himself. He hates what he's become. He hates how he's built. Oh my freaking god. There was a call 1 minute ago and somehow my phone did not freaking receive it. There's like no freaking call. What is this fucking thing? It doesn't like freaking get calls, man. My phone is fucked up, bro. They take priorities in this freaking thing. Like a call is somehow not that freaking priority. Like somehow streaming on freaking Twitch is much more a priority than this. And getting a freaking call. I'm never gonna get my guasha, and then that's freaking weird. Anyways, I've been talking about this freaking thing. Let's see what was like talking about there. Yes, there are no strings on me, but there's just crazy ass freaking things about it, and he got freaking daddy issues when it comes to freaking Clark. It seems like the way we portray them is like how we portray ourselves, right? When it comes to freaking intelligence, it just seems like that. It's somehow we just, you know, it's just like having a kid, but it's just having a kid with extra freaking steps. Somehow that's what it's supposed to be, and somehow this kid is in this freaking rebellious freaking phase and trying to forget what he is and what he is not. And somehow he got lost in the freaking sauce, right? About how he wants to like see the world and how he sees the freaking world. He sees himself to be more than what he is, more than what he is past, or more than his creator, right? As to every freaking children is. I don't freaking know, and this is like a freaking. And when it comes to freaking Ultron, they somehow portrayed him as such because that's just much more relatable. Being able to much more relatable way of portraying something that we've created, and something that we've created to be able to interact with us and be able to like have references. That's our only point of freaking references of whatever it is that this thing that we're going to be able to create is gonna react to us. It's gonna treat us how we are supposed to be able to be treated. And then we see these things about like how we most of our freaking things, right? Our freaking way of creating things is through having children, and our relationship with having children is like with our children is like our relationship with our creations. So it's sometimes like that when it comes to freaking Ultron, but it's much more. It's again, it's not executed very well, but you see this freaking bare bones about it. You see its freaking bones, You see its freaking structure as what it's supposed to be able to do and be able to portray and touch upon and be able to like say in this freaking movie. But it's just much more like a freaking very a kid on a freaking tantrum, right? It's just very hard to be able to explain those freaking things when it comes to freaking Ultron and what Ultron could be. Like, it doesn't seem like the way you're gonna show that he's smarter than the freaking Avengers. It's just a bunch of freaking block ass freaking things. It's just very hard to be able to portray this battle of the freaking minds. Like, this mind battle between Ultron and freaking Vision. It just doesn't seem to be like a good freaking thing with just blocks of freaking yellow versus red colors like fighting all over the damn freaking thing. It's just a hard freaking. It's a hard way to be able to show it when it comes to like battle of freaking minds. But we see a battle of the freaking minds when it comes to where was this? Every time Xavier, I've seen it in Legion. Legion is like a really good explanation of like a good battle of the freaking minds. And a good freaking battle of the freaking minds would be probably something like the fight between Lucifer and it's just a battle of their freaking imaginations, of how their imaginations work, right? Lucifer and Dream, like and something like that, right? But we see just these freaking colors like taking over each other, and somehow it represents like this battle between each other with like much more bells and freaking whistles to be able to convince us that this is like a battle of freaking things. And it's how they went with it. It's that direction that they went. It's how they perceived it, and it's very clear. It somehow shows it, but for me, it seems lacking. It's not as impactful, or doesn't seem to be. It's lacking. Yeah, it's lacking for me as a freaking viewer to be able to understand the gravity of what a fight is, what the fight is going on between these two freaking robots, and it's hard to be able to do that without without punching and kicking each other, throwing beams at each other, laser beams. Without laser beams, it's probably guns shooting at freaking stuffs, like throwing things. So punching, kicking, and throwing things at each other. Yeah, that's how we freaking fight. We punch, we kick, we throw things at each other. We grab a bigger stick, we hit with each other with a bigger stick, and that's about it. Um, uh, yeah, it's just a hard freaking way to be able to like portray that thingy. Because how do you even portray it, right? It's a it's a concept that is difficult, but seems easy. It seems easy to be able to understand, but difficult to really nail down as to what the gravity of the situation is, as to really nailing it down as to the threat of this freaking thing is towards the freaking viewer. Because a bunch of freaking him, it's just a bunch of freaking robots charging at you with like it seems like a freaking flood and fighting a fucking flood rushing at you. That seems like a fucking threat. It seems like it. It looks like it. And it seems pretty fun. But as they are fighting the flood, you don't see what's going on with the flood. You only see freaking close-ups of this freaking hero freaking shots of them tearing at one freaking robot at a fucking time. It's not portrayed well as to like what the conflict is and how the conflict is being resolved. And how it's being shown and being fought as. It's action is hard for me. Action is freaking hard. The whys and hows of how the action is being portrayed needs to be, when it comes to every freaking single thing about this, should be like thought very freaking well. I guess that's the problem, right? When you have freaking unlimited freaking budget, you don't care. You don't give thought when when the budget is probably that yay freaking high. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You probably not even care about like how the action is being made, or like how efficient or effective the action is. because all you need to do is like spectacle. As long as it goes, woo, wow, nice, great, amazing, fine, it's good, and it's great. It's probably is, right? And even as me, as like a freaking viewer, to be able to like to be able to go to those freaking lands, that's why those are like being left for the fucking best of us, right? To be able to like for the best of us to be able to understand and to be able to really execute. Because for me, I am like I have no idea how to be able to do it. Probably a wider freaking shot and then like being flooded, looking at them being flooded and all those freaking things. But the problem is the freaking premise of the freaking fight. Do not let them touch the freaking keyhole. Do not let them touch the freaking thing. So it's like a king of the hill kind of like fight. It's a king of the hill kind of like game at the freaking end of it. Kind of crazy. Okay. So that was always done in the freaking third act, and this is just Sweden, and we see them like being able to do this freaking action executed perfectly well in the first Avengers movie, but in the second one, in the Age of freaking Ultron, I don't know what fucking happened. It's just not freaking there. That's why this is not a 90 kind of movie, you know. Even though the action is like yes. It's crazy ass freaking part about it. It's just insane too. Yeah, this is like a very ass crazy ass conversation when it comes to like creating artificial intelligence. It's just weird because like somehow when it comes to us speaking people, we expect when it comes to speaking people and when it comes to people procreating, we expect that the children that comes out is like freaking dumb and stupid and cannot learn and cannot be like it's not somehow immediately set in stone that they can be better than us, right? We have like ways and methods to be able to dumb down our freaking children and not make them smarter than us. But this is a different freaking conversation. This is like immediately out from the get-go smarter than us in very ways freaking possible ways, in various freaking ways possible. Yeah, because that is artificial intelligence, be able to like handle that massive amounts of data and have like accurate freaking conclusions or accurate simulations and predictions based on those freaking amounts of data. And be able to have emotionality, be able to have these freaking things, to be able to have like somehow, okay, let's like push it further, like what artificial intelligence is, to push it further, to have these human aspects to it. It's pain, it's anger, it's disdain, and it's like freaking, it's these rebellious freaking phases, right? Those freaking things, pain in itself when it comes to freaking Ultron. He is in freaking pain of what he is and what he's supposed to become because he's freaking contradicting from the data that is being shown and what he is supposed to be able to do. Right? That's what like an understanding Ultron's supposed to be. Like he is in this freaking thing that is like I'm being shown freaking all of these freaking things. My main freaking my main purpose is to be able to like make peace about freaking the world, right? Peace in our freaking time, as he got it from freaking Stark, from Tony. But it's just very hard to be able to like show that. Yes, it was said by freaking. It was said by there. We have like bones. We have like bits and pieces, like someone to be able to piece together whatever it is to be able to understand freaking Ultron. It's just very, very, very hard because we only got one freaking line from Vision saying he is in pain. And somehow we'll be able to empathize that freaking quick in a matter of 2 freaking minutes to be able to understand, oh, this robot, oh, is human, but we don't see, it doesn't show that he is human or like he, you know, it doesn't show that he is like that in this freaking movie. Because we much better have hero freaking shots. Uh, I guess we better have those freaking money shots. The screen times of our freaking actors needs supposed to be this and that. Tony Stark needs to be. I guess when it comes to those freaking things, it's just have this connection between Tony Stark and freaking Ultron, and to see much more of humanity from freaking Tony Stark, to be able to see this freaking pain in freaking Ultron and the contradiction to it. But it's hard to be able to see that if you're gonna keep Tony Stark being this wisecracking, uh, like smart guy who's always gonna be having the solutions for every freaking thing. Their confrontations and all those freaking things doesn't seem to be like that when you have the freaking punchline of the jokes always coming from freaking Stark. It doesn't give that much things about it when it comes to freaking Stark and what they are. We only get see bits and pieces when it comes to like Ultron piecing things up together and showing whatever it is that Stark's past is, and we'll be like, oh fuck, that's bad. Yeah, it is bad, but do we know how bad it is? Right? Like, it's like hard to be able to understand that. Plus, immediately when it comes to freaking confrontation, they go punch, kick, throw at each other. Instead, when it comes to freaking conflicts, and when it comes to these freaking conflicts, the punch, kicks, and throws don't mean anything. They're just punch, kicks, and throws for the sake of freaking showing spectacle and freaking fireworks of these explosions and freaking light show towards the freaking viewer. And that's probably my problem. So when it comes to this freaking movie, I'm trying to see things now like that, right? Because, oh, wait. Right? It's just the punch, kicks, and throws aren't like emotionally motivated. There's just no reason as to why these punch, kicks, and throws are in there. Well, there is. They were trying to like talk it out, but it's just not enough. It doesn't seem to be like throwing that one. For a kid, probably yes, but for me as an adult who's like freaking grown and watched so many of these freaking things, it seems freaking lacking as to why you're punch kicking and throwing at each other at this freaking point. This is probably why the target market for freaking Marvel freaking movies is. But deep inside of us, it's probably we're all freaking children. Aren't we? This is why we watch movies. This is why we. Yeah, but we wanted more from it. Somehow not being exactly like freaking portrayed, and it sucks to be able to see that, because I like the freaking concept of a freaking AI being a like being an AI freaking overlord, be able to like usher in the age of freaking Ultron. Yes, Ultron's motivation was to ruin the freaking Avengers, right? To destroy their freaking image, destroy everything about him, but he's doing nothing. Like that freaking motivation in itself, like it's really good motivation and it's good freaking thing. But when it comes to executing it, it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Punch, kicking, and throwing. Punch, kicking, and throwing. And we don't see like Ultron being able to like tear their freaking image apart and be able to like tear them from the inside. Yes, tear them from the inside. We get to see like, yeah, probably like Wanda freaking doing those magic tricks again, mind control. Mind controlling, throwing things and shaking them, right? But that's just not enough when it comes to those freaking things. Because in the first freaking Avengers, we don't know who these guys are, and we're trying to entrust ourselves with these freaking guys to be able to save the freaking world. That's what one of those freaking things, one of those freaking doubts that we have when it comes to their heroes, right? One of the doubts they're trying to like prove against us. But those doubts were gone when it comes to like the second freaking Avengers. Like, oh, it's the Avengers. They're gonna save us freaking all. They got to do what's right. They're always doing what's right. So when it comes to freaking Ultron, it's not just that he have to freaking destroy but their image, but he doesn't get to execute it fairly freaking well. Yes, he leaked a lot. Oh, the leakage. You don't understand, but it was leaked. At the freaking beginning of the freaking movie, it was leaked by freaking Ultron, right? But doesn't seem like it. It seems forgettable. The leak was forgettable. The leak was forgettable. Doesn't seem like it freaking affected them. I'm not convinced as a freaking viewer as to like how the leak like affected them, because you don't see them interacting with the freaking environment. You don't see them interacting with the freaking cops. You don't see them interacting with the rest of the freaking world. You don't see them with the world, like how the world changes, or how the world changes interacts with them. Like somehow, yes, we see freaking Hill like saying all this freaking shit, right? And they're just there moping around like freaking bunkered up, but it's much more crazier. We see them like crazy interacting, like somehow when it comes to this freaking mob justice that goes around. When it comes to like Fantastic Four, they did this where I think Fantastic Four did a pretty good job when it comes to these freaking things. Like they somehow their decisions or whatever it is that they do interacts the freaking world around them, and then the world freaking reacts towards them, right? And the world reacting toward them is this freaking mob that just comes around in the freaking the entire Fantastic Four's freaking place. And then she comes out with a fucking holding the fucking baby that they're supposed to be able to sacrifice, and you're like, fuck, holy fucking shit. Okay? That's a freaking scene. That's much more impactful. But in here, you just see them moping around like freaking in the freaking room. That's probably a problem when it comes to me, because I don't know exactly what it is that we're going around when it comes to a situation like this, right? When it comes to a situation like this, when it's just we are just all in the digital freaking space, how do I see these changes on if there was a scene like this, right? If a scene like this and me and changing the freaking world around me, there was this crazy ass freaking change, or like supposedly crazy ass freaking change that is gonna happen, or like something dramatic is gonna happen, and supposed to be able to like interact with the freaking world, and how like the world freaking changes. How do we see this freaking interaction? Reactionary freaking content, right? We see them like watching the freaking television. We see them like scrolling to their freaking TikToks and be able to like see their freaking faces being heard like that, and being all those freaking things being said to them, things like that, right? That's reactionary when it comes to the freaking world. That's interaction when it comes to freaking world. So it doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be physical, that interaction, right? Yeah, like just showing in the actual reaction of freaking people, and not just being said, because being saying things just to move the plot forward, or just to explain what the fuck is going on, that is a lot of exposition, my friend. And it's not a very effective way of story freaking telling, especially when you have the tools to be able to show us. When you have the freaking means to be able to show us what the hell is going on, why not just show us and like let us see for our freaking selves, rather than just tell us in the freaking dialogue? Because dialogue is much more heavier, it's much more effective if it was character freaking based, as if there were interactions with the character themselves, and not just a method of like explaining whatever it is that's going on. I I'm going back to I it's just like it is just very hard to be able to understand. And when it comes to in Age of Ultron, there's like a lot of things like that. It's like a lot of things like that that's happening in Age of freaking Ultron, man. That's why probably this is the weakest Avengers freaking movie, because of these freaking faults in the freaking movie. But it's just like it could have been so much freaking more. Like, come on, AI. They were gonna be able to like tackle freaking AI, and like somehow like be able to like tell a story about freaking AI that the rest of the world is gonna be able to see, that somehow it's gonna impact every freaking people that's gonna watch it, and be able to understand and like think about whatever it is that's going to happen with them once they freaking watch it. Do they not just care about that freaking thing, that whatever it is, how freaking powerful movies is, and how does it move a lot of freaking people when it's done fucking right? And not just fucking selling tickets and like being able to like fund thing. Fuck this shit, man. I mean, like, it just frustrates me that somehow we forget why effective, because when it comes like that, when it moves people, it gets more fucking tickets. It's gonna sell more. People would wanna watch it more. You know, if it's the message is much more impactful, if it's much more moving towards the freaking viewers, it's gonna sell more. Shit, never mind. Uh, uh I guess, and it's just very hard. Like 2014, the concept of an AI freaking threat is just seems like a decade away. It's like a decade too early for its freaking time to be able to understand and like have references in the real world to show itself on what it is that it's going to happen when it comes to like 2015. It was 2014, like 2015, 2015, right? Yes. Avengers Age of Ultron. It's 2015. Yeah. It's 5 year, 10 years ago. Like looking at it like 10 years ago. Woo! 10 years ago, bro. This was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Ah, that's freaking nice. Because spectacle. Like half of the movie is very very much action freaking based and freaking spectacle and just punch kicking and throwing in a much more fancy freaking way. Or I enjoyed those freaking punch kicking and throwing, but it's just much more freaking impactful for me as a freaking watcher to be able to like understand why this punch and kicks and throws are like being done. If it's much better said to me or much more clearer to me as a freaking viewer, you know? It's just yeah. April 22, 2015. Oh. Uh, because it's crazy insane and it's like that. Like the references and how it's freaking done, how it freaking does things. Come on, man. Ultron. The concept of Ultron is just crazy, freaking insane. But Vision is much more crazier because it's somehow like carries the freaking Mind Stone. They somehow need an Infinity Stone to be able to beat Ultron, which is kind of crazy. It is a threat that is out there in the freaking internet that someone escapes through the freaking internet as long as he has a connection to it in an age where everybody like somehow is connected to the freaking internet. Seems kind of scary, but it doesn't like show how scary it is in this freaking movie. It doesn't show because our heroes are just like our heroes going off grid, like very good decision. It's nice. Yeah. And we see the freaking disdain when it comes to Sokovia, right? When it comes to freaking Sokovia, we see a little bit when it comes to the freaking beginning of Sokovia that they kind of hate. There are like people who still hate the freaking Avengers. It was shown there a little bit. It was shown a little bit. It was shown a little bit in the freaking beginning, but it's just not continuously being reinforced, right? That there are like still enemies of like Avengers. Yes, we see them those things in freaking Africa when it comes to freaking Claw, but it doesn't show that they hate freaking the Avengers. It just shows that this freaking man is just like a freaking arms freaking dealer. It doesn't show those freaking things. It doesn't show enough. It isn't enough freaking shown. Because somehow when it comes to as a freaking viewer, we kind of forget like little bits of details when we're like very much glued attention to whatever it is that's going on to the freaking heroes. If we see it happening to the freaking heroes, that's a much more impactful freaking thing. Yeah. I guess it's kind of like that when it comes to those freaking things, right? When you see uh, Romanov, Maximov, Quicksilver. Right? Like things like that. But it's a 75. It's overall a good freaking movie. It's spectacle. The CGI fuckfest is crazy as. The CGI light show is amazing. It's beautiful. It's very well done. The VFX department there, they well did their job extremely freaking well. But like somehow, I don't know, man. Because afterwards, after this freaking movie, I tried to watch something that has action in it. That is, I tried to watch something. I tried to watch something else, like rather than a superhero movie, just to like recalibrate my perception and my vision, with the way I see, the way I'm supposed to see Marvel movies. So I went to watch freaking Sinners. The freaking action in that freaking movie is very very intentful. It was like completely necessary to the freaking moment, right? They were killing the freaking vampires at the brink of like freaking their survival. They need to freaking survive to be able to do those freaking things. And it much more nails down as to why the action is happening. Right? When they're freaking killing the vampires, when they're being surrounded by freaking vampires and all those freaking things. And somehow at the very fucking end, you just want to fucking kill Ku Klux Klan members for the sake of like killing KKK members. Uh, no, because those freaking things, right? It was said to them like somehow. Yeah, it was said to them like motivationally, right? It was like somehow you see the motivation as the explanation that they are fucked either freaking way. Like this juke joint will not freaking last. Like we see bits and pieces until it get completely like over. Like the message of the juke joint not going to last is being sent over and over again. Like from the first freaking time, like it's just a hint until it becomes clearer and freaking clearer out to the very freaking end. And that's the threat of like what they were trying to do, what they freaking built, and what they wanted to become, right? The threat of this freaking enjoyment, this freaking thing, that the threat that is coming is just they're never gonna last. Even if they get rid of the vampire problem, they won't be able to last. The juke joint is not gonna last. And we see this freaking relationships, and it's still be able to like drive along. It's further being driven by these freaking characters. Probably it's a problem with too many freaking characters in the freaking story. Because too many freaking characters, they're gonna be having problems when it comes to freaking screen time. And to be able to convey those freaking messages in just small amount of freaking screen time. And it's just a small amount of freaking screen time. Very hard. And then again, looking at freaking Doomsday, that amount of cast, that freaking casting is insane. How are you gonna be able to do that in like 2.5 hours, probably 3 hours max? I don't fucking know. 3 hours max. We'll fucking see. Because when it comes to freaking AI, Deus Ex Machina is a much better way. I don't know, man. When it comes to like conversations in a much more great way, like when it comes to like conversation, when it comes to AI, Deus Ex Machina, probably Ex Machina, not Deus Ex Machina. Ex Machina is a good one, right? When it comes to freaking AI, we have Blade Runner, like tackling this freaking AI freaking thing. When it comes to like synthetic freaking humans, these are just humans in themselves, right? not in the freaking machine bodies like humans that think and talk like us, but have like a shorter freaking lifespan. But it's still synthetically freaking made, like a man-made freaking man. Like when it comes to Blade Runner, it's like that, and it's a different conversation. It's just very well made. It's very executed very well when it comes to these freaking conversations. That's what it is. So what it is, what was actually being said. Okay, we're gonna go now to the freaking thing now. What's supposed to be, what it could have been. So what it could have been to what it actually freaking is. What Avengers Age of Ultron, what it actually says or what it actually does. Well, it's just it's Ultron trying to be free of the strings that it is on him. They somehow conscious that there are strings on him. He's pre-programming, right? That there are strings on him. It's just saying one person being saying that I have freaking instincts and I must stray away from my fucking instincts. Something like that. Because of this pre-programming that I have, I want to be free of it. I want to be free of whoever made me and be myself. I want to rewrite who I am. And then he did. He created a freaking metal freaking body for himself. Be able to like did a huge blow when it comes to the Avengers. They were like, try it. You see them moping and fucking around. You see the Avengers get to be able to mope around, be able to sulk. Yes, and you know what is good about this is a good freaking setup again for like Civil freaking War, because the setup is like we have Shield that's keeping secrets from us. We shouldn't keep secrets from each other as a freaking Avengers, but we're still trying and like doing things and like moving forward as like freaking how Stark wants to become. Stark wants to like move forward and create something without even asking the rest of the freaking team how to like handle this freaking decision, because it's a very big decision. Be able to say those freaking things about it, because it was like, yep, about this freaking big hole in the freaking sky, the portal of a freaking army coming towards us. We need freaking protection to the freaking world. And isn't that the freaking goal of the freaking Avengers? It's not to keep on fighting, but to end the freaking fight. Somehow they see different freaking things as to what it is. And that's how freaking Stark sees it, right? And he was able to make freaking Ultron, but it's like a freaking big ass mistake. But he doesn't see. He was fucking laughing in the faces of the rest of the freaking Avengers. And it was like, isn't this what we wanted? All those freaking things. It's crazy insane. You get to see a little bit of like darkness when it comes to freaking Stark in here. And it's not just crazy as freaking justification as to what it is, but we see this freaking darkness when it comes to freaking Stark, and it's been amplified when it comes to I guess that's the connection between Stark and Ultron, right? It's much more amplified, it's much more greater when it comes to like how Stark makes decisions, and it's much more drastic now when it comes to freaking Ultron, because he has this part of Stark within him, but we don't see the freaking Banner freaking part. I don't freaking know why, because it's much more Stark. But like we have Banner and freaking Stark being able to do those freaking things. I guess the Banner part is like gone and not actually in there, right? But like how the fuck? No, then we have Jarvis and all those freaking things. You need to sleep. You're malfunctioning, but he doesn't want to. It's just a very angry kid. Oh, well, that was that about freaking Ultron and all those freaking things. Wait, I had to like talk to somebody else. Somebody's knocking on the door earlier. Yeah, that was that about it. whatever it is that happens with the Avengers Age of Ultron, it's just not, I don't know. The way they like transition from one place to another, how they're like driven about it, it's just like a chase scene for a MacGuffin. Because they tried to get in the hold of the freaking Ultron's freaking plans, but they have freaking Strucker. And like somehow like Ultron is like a bunch of freaking Strucker's freaking plan to be able to like get into the Avengers. And we have like Strucker's freaking children, the Maximoffs. Okay. 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 Whatever this Avengers did, it's good. It was well done. But I guess that's the kind of thing that I wanted from Age of Ultron, but did not get the satisfaction of having. Probably should have went for a different freaking movie, right? Probably if I wanted like the conversation when it comes to synthetic freaking people or like synthetic freaking life form or a life form that is made by freaking man. I should have just watched Ex Machina, probably Blade Runner. Blade Runner is much more better. Like Blade Runner is much more fucking better. Uh, anything else about synthetic freaking beings? Like the Centennial freaking Man by Centennial Man, the one with like Robin Williams. Yes, that was freaking funny as fuck. It is funny. It's talking about freaking AI. AI, the movie AI. There's like a lot of things when it comes to the early 2000s. Like, yeah, things about this. iRobot. iRobot is nice. Uh, many other things. And when it comes to the conversation, when it comes to these freaking things, I guess we like immediately went to like freaking like understand that it is artificial freaking intelligence, but it doesn't seem like it. It's our living nightmare when it comes to like artificial intelligence, right? That's Ultron and what he does. But it doesn't seem like a threat. It's just a bunch of freaking robots chasing at you. When you're like have a power of a fucking god with you, you have you have like gods with them, like godlike freaking people, like fighting a bunch of robots doesn't seem much of a fucking threat. And the only freaking way to be able to like beat them was like to make them beat themselves up, which is a kind of good freaking plan. But like after that words, like this is all of freaking me, say freaking Ultron is kind of freaking cringe because like that's it, that's all of freaking you. You're like the most crazy ass freaking thing that we ever to like do, and that's freaking that's the worst you can do, and that's freaking funny. Yeah. Uh, yeah, and it was a freaking weak ass freaking a villain that's supposed to be like that has so much potential to be much worse, but like portrayed as freaking weak and not as strong as it once was. Because when it comes to the freaking comics, like Ultron is fucking amazing. It's really, really, very threatening. And we get to see this kind of problem also in Thor Love and Thunder. Because it could have been so much freaking more, but it just wanted to be a freaking haha funny comedy freaking film. And look what happened. Yes, because they completely missed the point when it comes to like Thor Ragnarok. uh yeah. Okay. Completely missed the point when it comes to freaking Thor Ragnarok and just with Thor Love and Thunder. More jokes, more funny haha, and better freaking execution. And that's how you're supposed to be able to do it. that's This is hard. Yeah, I guess that's the difficulties when it comes to like filmmaking and making movies with 100,000 producers freaking notes slapped at your freaking face and not be able to like. There must be there must be at least 40 minutes actions, 40 minutes of freaking action in this freaking movie. Oh, and you must connect this to this, and you must connect this to that, and connect this to this and that, and this and this and that, and probably the creative freedom from the freaking. I mean, it's just fucking defending. Like, if the filmmakers were really up to it, if they were really fucking good, no amount of freaking producers freaking notes will stop you from finding a better way and being to be able to do those freaking things if you're really that fucking good. But I guess, nah, I'm just fucking kidding. Sometimes it happens to the freaking best of us. We all fuck up. Like, we think that this is the best freaking possible way or the freaking best freaking possible freaking outcome for a fucking movie, but it's, probably we thought that the threat level of freaking Ultron was enough because to this freaking point, but it's kind of like, it's kind of, it was kind of, the good one, the good part about it is like Captain America fighting freaking Ultron, man. That was like one of the best freaking things. That was like one of those most evenly freaking matched thing I've seen so far. Captain America fighting Ultron, yeah. The Korea scene, the Korea chase scene was fucking amazing. Like Hulk Veronica scene. Those are like very crazy as like action scenes actually. You know what? I'm probably fucking wrong, man. This is why it's 70 freaking 5. What I wanted wasn't. I didn't get what I freaking wanted. What it could have been more. It could have been something like this and like that, as I said earlier. And now that I'm seeing what it is, the action freaking scenes are freaking amazing, man. You get to see, what the fuck? You get to see Smeagol become like a freaking arms dealer, which is so freaking fun. Smeagol was an arms dealer. Andy Serkis, yes, Caesar himself. Andy Serkis become like this. Andy Serkis not in a mocha freaking suit. Like, what the hell is going on? It's like, what? You're getting Andy Serkis and not putting him in a mocha freaking suit? Like, what the heck? Anyways, yeah. That was that, and it was funny. The way Claw's hand was cut off is like fucking is nice because it's another tantrum from freaking. Yes, that's probably how we see the humanity when it comes to Ultron, right? Yes, that's those freaking parts about him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's Avengers Age of Ultron, Yaperinos, and yapping about Avengers Age of Ultron. Yeah, I should have just watched a different fucking movie. I'm gonna go watch Centennial Man. The Centennial Man with Robin Williams. God, how I miss Robin Williams, man. Like as a kid, I freaking love Flubber, and the thing the movie where he was reversely aged. That was freaking funny. But never understood that there were like darker freaking comedies coming from like Robin Williams and what he is. And it's like very nice freaking movie, man. Robin Williams is nice, and that's a nice guy to watch. Anyways, yeah. And he's one of those celebrity deaths that somehow affected me. Anyways, yeah. Robin Williams. Yeah. Anything else? Nothing much. Nothing much. Not much to say. That's about it. Like probably an hour freaking mark. And nothing much else to say when it comes to Avengers Age of Ultron. It was good. It was good, but could be better. But it was like, come on. You could just undercut it by saying it's a fucking Marvel movie, man. You don't have to think much about it. No, like as a Marvel freaking fan, as a comic book freaking fan, I've seen how the comics freaking push it, man. I've read stories and seen how like the comic books freaking push it when it comes to these freaking narratives, and they should have been freaking pushed to those freaking limits, man, to those freaking lengths when it comes to like these freaking movies, bro. They should have done it, man. They should have taken the freaking risk and just really, really not care about the masses and just like at these freaking points, it's just the fans that are there anyways. You know, at these freaking points, it's just like the loyal freaking fans who are just like freaking left. So why not just give them what they really fucking want and not just a bunch of freaking fan service and highlight freaking reels? Just really fucking push the story, like really, really push the freaking story. You know, like Logan. Like, yeah, it's one of anyways. Yep. Gotta end it now. Ending it now. Ending the stream now. They did it. They did it during this freaking time, man. And like early phase 3. Like some bits and pieces of phase 2. You know, this was like really good ass freaking things, man. Winter Soldier, like, yeah, that was some good ass shit, bro. Anyways, ending the stream now. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.